And he's loose again. Edwards off the lane. Like a bat, Donovan Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now, and they take a downfield shot. And the Texans are in. It's Ryan Williams. 2-3-3. Touchdown.
All righty, welcome in, Missouri fans. This is another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. And as you can see, we're rolling through with the SEC and season previews. It's just me today, and I look forward to covering this team. And again, in the comments, I tell everybody this: please let us know your expectations, your thoughts. If you see something different than what we see, because obviously we're outside looking in. We're not Missouri fans, and we cover national. The entire FBS effectively. So let us know what you think, and maybe if we missed something that you are more excited about than maybe we missed or what we cover. So we appreciate you being in. And when we do these previews, we usually start off and just do a quick look back at 2024 in case a fan of another team's watching, maybe seeing what they did last year. So pulling that up, 2024. Great year for Mizzou and what they brought to the table here. 10-3 overall, and a lot of good wins, some close ones, but the losses were bad. I mean, it was like as soon as they played a more legit team, Texas A&M got blown out, Bama got blown out. But then you figured out, against Oklahoma team, South Carolina, they were up and up, they beat you. So that's kind of the hang around question on this Missouri team from last year. It was a lighter schedule in terms of the SEC. When you look at some of the other guys they play, you may not like to hear it, but sorry, I think it's a fact. But then you got a good bowl win down there against Iowa. It's always a very tough defense to play. Offensively, they're a little inept last couple of years, and that's being respectful, I think. But either way, you guys got 10 wins. Doesn't matter. Nobody gives a shit about the rest of it. It's 10-3, and that looks good on Coach Drink. So now we move on to talking about 2025 and what this team brings to the table. So they bring back 58% production returning. That's from Bill Conley. His numbers have you guys at 20 as the 21st team, 21st hardest, most difficult team to play in the country. And I mean, that to me, that speaks volumes to what the recruiting has been doing, the transfer portal, how you guys have been, handling business there. We're going to talk about that soon, and just the direction of the program. Like I said, whatever about the schedule last year, you guys are still a tough team, and I like the direction that this squad is rolling. Coaching changes that I've seen from what I've been trying to look at and figure out. David Blackwell comes in as on the defensive line side, and then Nicholson comes in at linebacker. So plussing that up a little bit. But outside of that, the core staff, the offense, defense, and head coach stays the same, which is important for continuity. And you guys know that. But when you look at the portal, we'll move on to that, and just the impressive numbers that you guys did here. Number 7 class in the country, and you guys went and got weapons, and you're trying to build that line back. So those are things that we'll talk about when we get into the offense. Your buyers coming in, on the linebacker side. Ahmad Hardy's a nice get. Guys those are important gets. And I mentioned offensive line side too. But the biggest one's probably quarterback, right? Coming over from Penn State and Pribula. I know Penn State hated losing him because they're waiting for LR to move on, but he's still hanging around. So we'll see if Penn State regrets, that decision. I don't know. We'll see. You did have some key losses though. I mentioned your buyer coming in from Nebraska. He was an interesting one, but then he says he popped out, went on down the line to North Carolina. So he comes in, he leaves. And so I wish 24/7 would update their freaking board, because sometimes I'm looking at so many teams I mess that up. But either way, he's gone now. And then a couple of the other ones that I have: Crutchfield, Jalen Brown. those are other guys. Nwaneri going to Nebraska. So some tough losses there, but overall the talent on this team is still going to be top end. I like what I'm seeing. But let's just go ahead and talk about the offense, because this is where the questions lead to. And at the end of this, we'll talk about schedule and how I think everything's going to play out. But on the offensive side, obviously you got Bo coming in at quarterback, and there's a battle there, with the young stud, quarterback. But I think you go with the guy that's got reps in big time competition in the Big Ten. And when you look at Bo's performances or over his time at Penn State, he showed out when he got in there. But now stepping in that larger role, how is he going to manage those expectations and the pressure? His stats, I mean, he's 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, 74% completion on 35 attempts last year for 275, and then he also ran for 242 and 4 touchdowns. So I mean I love seeing that. And if he can maintain that, consistency and that level of play as a starter, all right, you guys are good. You got a solid quarterback position and depth there. But the question, again, it goes wide receivers. Who's he throwing to? He's got good ones, I think. And Coleman and Lloyd, they've got proven production coming in. Marquise Johnson, he's back. And then you have good tight end room. So, okay, he's got some people to throw to. What about the running back? Ahmad Hardy, mentioned him. He's proven talent. He's gritty runner. He can do the same thing, I think, in the SEC than what he did where he came from. The question is the offensive line. I think Bo's going to be just fine. I think he's going to be able to step in and handle the business. But can the offensive line hold up? And it's just really how do they shuffle them? You brought in good players, mentioned Gadice. Maybe I didn't mention, but I just said the offensive line guys coming in from the portal. Gadice, I'm a Michigan fan. He's coming over from Michigan. I'll talk about him in a second. Tross was a good pickup. Williams, there's other transfers that can step in and try to start immediately. So there's some depth there. Gadice, I don't think he needs to play center. When he played at Michigan, he stepped in that role, and just something about the chemistry there and the way he was, trying to signal, or call out the blitz packages and whatnot. It just did not fit very well. So that he moved around a good bit, and that's why he's leaving Michigan. He's just not going to fit into that role, but I think he's still strong in run blocking, and he can do good in pass pro. I'd say he needs to be a guard. And then we'll see what Mizzou does. Obviously, if I'm saying that, probably your coaching staff knows what the hell to do. So it just depends on how this offensive line gels, and that's how far this offense will go. It all rides on them and how the young quarterback steps into the grind. Looking at defense real quick, I mean, last year was the 17th defense in the country, and I mean, I think they're going to be right up there again. Looking at my notes here, you got Damon Wilson, Nate Johnson coming in. Those are portal guys that are strong. And then you got veterans like Zion Young. That's a guy they can all get after the passer. So the portal helps stepping in immediately. We mentioned how good this portal class is. I mean, you guys got people from all across. You got cornerbacks, linebackers, edge rushers that are going to step up, safeties that are going to be able to get into the rotation. The linebacker starters that you guys have, they're going to be all over the field. They're going to be after it again like they were last year. And then depth on the defensive backside. These guys can all fit in. It just depends on what transfers step up. And, the 2 deep, I think, is going to be nice, deep, and ready to rock and roll. So when we look at this schedule, and we'll go ahead and I'll jump into that, pull it up here. It's one of the lighter ones, again, in my opinion, in the SEC. And like I said, we cover all the teams. We've been looking at them all. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's lighter. And on the outer conference games, you play Kansas in week 2. That's going to be a tough test because I think this Kansas team is going to be improved, especially with Jane Daniels being healthy. He poses a danger. But you guys have the talent to be able to to defeat that team. It just depends. Again, it's early season. How well does the team gel? But I think that's when, say, 3-0 start, and then you play a tough South Carolina team. Okay, so you got a tough test there against South Carolina. Say you go 4-1 in that first stretch. Awesome. Then you get into kind of a gritty center, but at least it's sandwiched between two bye weeks. I kind of like the way the bye weeks are set up here. Yes, you play Alabama. They're going through a quarterback change. We'll see how they handle it. Obviously they're loaded with talent. We know Bama is, but how does Ty Simpson do stepping into the fold? They still have some roster turnover. Auburn, I think they're going to be a much improved team, even though I don't know if it's going to stick or not. The one wide receiver from them, Simmons, just got arrested for some crazy shit. But then again, somebody mentioned today that it's off the books now. So I don't know what's going to happen. But that even if he does, get kicked off the team or suspended, that's a hit for them. If not, all right, just back to it. I think that team will be improved. It just depends on, how quarterback play goes there with them and how, Jackson Arnold does with a healthier team. Vandy, they got Pavia. He's talking the shit already. They're going to be a tough team to play, but I think you guys can handle some business there. And then you get the bye week, and then you play Texas A&M. I'm still not sold on Reed completely. I think he's got room for improvement from last year, but that'll be a tough game. And then after that, the Oklahoma Sooner team, I think they're going to be much improved. You bring down what they did on offense and Mateer at quarterback. That's going to be tough. And then Arkansas, they're kind of in that same realm of they can give you problems, but you should be able to handle them. So let me know what you guys think on this schedule. When I look at it, I wrote down, my floor and ceiling. And again, floors for me are if things go completely AWOL, they go horrible. You drop a game to Kansas, you lose to South Carolina, Bama gets you, Texas A&M gets you, Oklahoma gets you. That's 5 losses. So you see a 7-5, and then that's a floor in my opinion. I don't think that's going to happen. And then a ceiling, I've got 10-2. I worry a little bit about the offensive line and how they'll mesh early. And but you have a very good chance of even going 11-1. But I try to be a little more conservative on my estimates. But you guys let me know what you think. I could see a path to 11-1. I really can. Undefeated so hard nowadays. But I could see 11-1. It all just depends on that offense. So we'll see what happens, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you feeling overly optimistic, or are you kind of leaning towards middle ground with the changeover on offense and new quarterback play stepping in? I appreciate your time. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you around hopefully in the comments. Take care.